What's going on, guys? Today we are talking Thursday night football between the Cowboys and the Lions. It is week 14. This season has flown by. It does every single year. You get so excited for the first few weeks, and then, by the time you blink, it's already week 14. So it's a shame because it's been such a great season. I've had, honestly, probably the most profitable NFL season that I've ever had, at least for the player props. I had a really insane run on straight bets and money lines and spreads about 7 or 8 years ago. That would have won me the Vegas Super Contest if I had actually joined it. Stuff the board, all my survivors and pick five contests and stuff. But this year for the player props have been just absolutely next level for me. And honestly, I can attribute it to Outlier. I started using Outlier about 2 years ago, and I made it a point for myself this year to really get deep into the tool and do the best work that I can to find the absolute best picks that I can for you guys. And the hard work certainly pays off. So obviously you need a tool like Outlier so you can do your research on, because that's the time saver. You don't want to spend 40 hours a week looking through box scores trying to find the same information that Outlier can do for you just by paying like $30 a month or something. It's so worth it, worth the investment for that kind of stuff. But if you want a 7-day free trial for Outlier, there's a link in the description below where you can try it out. If you have any questions as you're going through it, you can reach out to me in a DM or post it in my Discord server. The VIPs, I do a lot more educational content for them. Like, I'll do like videos of walkthroughs of like my entire process of how I find plays using Outlier. So if you want to become a VIP, you also get a write-up of every single play that I make. So similar to how I talk about the plays in these YouTube videos, basically what I do earlier on in the week is I write like a 2, 3, 4 sentence paragraph or so talking about what I found with this play and why I like it, and what trends are pushing me towards putting cash on it. So I post those early in the week, all for the entire NFL season. So you get ahead of a lot of the line movement, especially for the Sunday games, because I post them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But you also get screenshots of every single bet that I place too. And some people like to tail all of my bets exactly. Some people like to just mix and match them. It's whatever you guys want to do. You make it whatever you want it to be. But if you want a 3-day free trial to become a VIP, there is a link in the description below where you can get that free trial. Try it out for a couple days, hopefully make enough money, pay for the subscription yourself, and it'll be worth it in the long run just because it pays for itself. And I keep the price as cheap as I possibly can. But if you don't want to become a VIP, totally fine. You can join the Discord server too. The Discord is completely free. There are a couple of channels specifically for the VIP, but about 90% of the server is completely open and free. And just be an active member of the community. So we even had people yesterday, not even talking about sports, but in the general chat, posting their Spotify Wrapped for the week. It's, I don't know if a lot of you watch Twitch streams or like gaming streamers, things like that, but I'm trying to build a community that's similar to that kind of stuff. Just a good place to be, meet others, build relationships, and just really hang out with each other, sweat your bets, talk sports, talk whatever. So that's what I want the Discord to be. So if you want to join it, the link to join is in the pinned comment below. All right, now that all my spiel's done, let's get into the game tonight. Big situation on the board, obviously, is the injury to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'd assume he's going to be out tonight. We haven't gotten official word. I think he is still currently questionable, but if I had to guess, he will be out tonight. Maybe just by looking at the Jameson Williams prop. But we have two teams whose offenses can be really good when they're on, and a Cowboys defense that could be absolutely terrible. Lions defense that's been fairly subpar this year too compared to their standards. So could be an interesting game for us tonight. I've got a couple plays. I only have one straight bet, which you guys probably know what it is already, to be honest with you. But I did find 3 parlay fillers for us. So if you want to do like a 3-leg parlay of the parlay fillers, you won't be able to combine all of them together, but you can combine it with some other stuff. Maybe some NBA that I'll be posting later on today too. But anyways, let's get into the plays here. So you guys are already going to know what my top play of the day is, and it is CeeDee Lamb over 26.5 on the longest reception. I talk about this play every single week. We play it every single week, and it wins for us every single week. So in games in the last 2 years with Dak Prescott, he has gone over this number 7 out of 8 games this year when they were both healthy. This one game with a 0, CeeDee Lamb got hurt like the first play of the game. He didn't even get a yard, didn't get a target, nothing. Like he basically didn't even play in that game. So 7 out of 8 games this year, he had a reception of 27 yards or more. Looking at last season, it was also 7 out of 8 games. But this one game here against the Falcons is the game that Dak Prescott got hurt last year. So in games where both CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott start and play the entire game, we're looking at a sample size of 14 out of 15 games where he has had a reception of 27 or more yards. The Lions defense doesn't really scare me too much. They give up the 9th most passing or receiving yards per game to wide receivers this year. So really good spot for CeeDee Lamb to go over this number in general on the longest reception. You can get 25.5 on Hard Rock and FanDuel and DraftKings, which I would suggest to do if you aren't limited to just the DFS sites like I am, because obviously PrizePicks to Underdog only have the 26.5. I wish I was getting 25.5, but it's just the way it works for me. But a play that you certainly could play on most sites, or at least PrizePicks here as a goblin play, the 19.5. So I will have some slips with the goblin play of 19.5. And that just goes to a 100% hit rate over the last 2 seasons when they both start and finish a game, because the lowest he had was 23 in a game against the Raiders a few weeks ago, where it was a total blowout. He didn't really need to do anything. We were actually kind of lucky to get the 23-yard reception in that game because it was so out of hand at that point. But the CeeDee Lamb prop has been something that's been a money printer for us the last 2 years. So there's really no reason to stop now. And as long as this number stays below 27.5, I'm just going to keep taking it every single week, regardless of matchup. You can see against Denver and Surtain, I took it anyways. I really don't care. So I will take this every chance I get, as long as it's not at 27.5. All right, moving over to the parlay fillers. I have 2 other ones other than that CeeDee Lamb 19.5 one that I mentioned. This first one is kind of an obscure one. I don't generally do many first quarter bets. Not too many first half bets either in the NFL. I do them much more often in the NBA. But we're going with Jared Goff over 39.5 first quarter passing yards. He's gone over this number in only 9 out of 12 games this year. I would have liked to see this number be a little bit higher. But the main reason for this is the matchup. The Cowboys are allowing the 3rd most passing yards per game in general to quarterbacks this year. 10 out of the 12 quarterbacks they faced have thrown for 40 or more passing yards in the first quarter this year. It is kind of game flow dependent, because obviously if Dallas gets the ball and holds the ball for a while and Goff doesn't get a lot of opportunities to throw the ball, or if they go like 3 and out or something on the first possession, it is a little more volatile than a typical prop. But it is a solid parlay filler if you do want to fill it in with something. The odds are decent. -260 on DraftKings, goblin play on PrizePicks. I certainly have it. I will have it in at least one slip tomorrow, but this isn't my main one that I'm on. But you do have to have a player from each team on PrizePicks Underdog to make the parlay work. So this is the player from the Lions that I would be on for that. All right. And now the final play here for the game. It really goes along with the CeeDee Lamb prop, but you can't pair them together, unfortunately, just because the books don't allow it typically. But it's Dak Prescott over 29.5 yards on the longest pass completion. So we're betting on Dak to throw a pass of 30 or more yards. If he throws it to Lamb, that'll cash both of our props here. You can see he's gone over this number in 11 out of 12 games this year. So really good spot for Dak. The only time he missed, he had a 29-yard reception, which was actually to CeeDee Lamb against the Broncos. But another reason for this is the matchup. So the Lions pass defense isn't really... It's average. We'll look at it here. You're allowing only 212.5 yards per game to quarterbacks. That's 17th best in the NFL, or 17th worst. Yeah, 17th best in the NFL. So about middle of the road, essentially. But they have allowed every single quarterback they have faced this year to throw for at least one pass of 30 or more yards. So we're going to hope that trend continues this week. This is the kind of trends that I have been digging a lot further this year to find. I'd love to be able to do this with the NBA too. I just don't have a tool available to me that can show all of the data that I can get for the NFL, just because there's so many different outputs. But I'm working on trying to find a way to do that for us for the NBA. But Anyways, that's going to wrap things up today. We have the few plays, like I mentioned before, the CeeDee Lamb over in the longest reception for the main line and the parlay filler. Jared Goff over on the first quarter passing yards and Dak Prescott over on the longest reception. I will have another video posted later this afternoon with NBA picks for the Thursday night slate. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can see when I post that video. My next NFL video will be on very late Saturday night into Sunday morning. I normally record that at like 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night, and I even just post it right when I'm done. Usually around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night. That will have all of my plays for the Sunday slate. But if you want to get all those plays now or earlier, instead of waiting all the way to Saturday in case some of these lines do move, that's where the benefit of becoming a VIP comes in, where you can get on these plays early, get ahead of any line movement that we might be ahead of. And it matters. Like we've had some plays where, for example, we had a guy over on his rushing yards at like 60. By the time the game kicked off on Sunday, it was at like 78.5. Like some of these line movements are absolutely significant and it matters so much. I talk about it on the Sunday videos too. But anyways, that's going to wrap things up today. Join the Discord if you aren't in there already. The link to join is in the pinned comment below. Best of luck on your bets tonight, and thanks for watching.